to see you all again. I hope you've had a chance to try the other recipes that we've had. Thank you so much for all the lovely photos that you've been sending me of you in action, as well as the result, the end result. So keep sending those because I love seeing them. So number 3, we are going to make a homemade pizza, but it's slightly different because it's almost like a scone base. There's no yeast. We've got self-raising flour instead, and it doesn't need to be left to rise. So it's quite a quick pizza. So it will taste slightly different, but tasty all the same. Right, so ingredients. We have got self-raising flour, like that. Some butter, which is at room temperature. And some milk, which is going to be our binding for today, for the dough. Some salt. And then just some flour, because we're going to do a little bit of kneading, not too much. So like I say, it's a quick pizza. So that's the ingredients for the pizza dough. As far as toppings, I'm using some passata, tomato passata, which is basically sieved, crushed plum tomatoes. So if you haven't got this, you can just crush some tin tomatoes, or if you've got tomato puree, you can use that. So that's not a problem. And then I've got 2 cheeses. I've got some cheddar, and I've got some mozzarella balls. I mean, these are the tiny balls here. You can get the big ball that it normally comes in and chop that up. I couldn't get any, so therefore I've got these little balls. And then I've got some olives, some black olives. You can use green olives, black olives, or no olives if you don't like olives. And then we've got oregano as a herb, and then some extra virgin oil. I mean, they're the toppings I'm putting on, but if you'd like to use ham or sweet corn kernels, or not have the tomato and have pesto instead, you can mix and match, and other cheeses as well, whichever you prefer. Right, as far as equipment, a bowl, basically to make the dough. We're making a square pizza, so I've got a tray which has been greased with some vegetable oil, and then a fork, which we're going to use to mix in the milk to make our dough. A spoon for our passata, we're going to spread that on our pizza. And then I've got a grater to grate our cheddar. And then the rest of it, we're going to use our hands. So that's everything. So let's start. Right, so we're going to start off with our dough. So we're going to add all our flour. Now the ingredients, the quantities will be in the description box below, as we've done with the other recipes. So that all goes in. And then we've got our butter, which, like I say, is at room temperature. So we add that in too, like so. And then we're a pinch of salt. So basically, as we do in class, that is plenty. You see that much? And that goes straight in your bowl. Okay, now we're going to use our fingers to actually bring this together and form breadcrumbs. Okay? Right, so we're ready to make the dough. So far we've got the self-raising flour, the room temperature butter, and the salt. So what we're going to do is, like the flapjacks, we're going to use our fingertips to make this to resemble breadcrumbs. So get your butter and squish it just like that. It's quite satisfying. There you go, you keep on going, just squishing that butter as much as we can to make breadcrumbs. Keep on going. What you'll notice is the colour changes into like a yellowy sort of colour because of the butter. So keep on going, like that, until, let's have a look, keep on going. There's still lumps of butter, so make sure you squish them all, see, like that. Get them into your fingers, there you go. Keep on going until they're all squished, like that. Right, so I think all the butter's now squished and it resembles breadcrumbs. So let's have a look. Yeah, the butter's all gone. So it should look like that. Okay? Right, so now we've got our breadcrumb mixture, and we're now going to use our milk basically to bring our dough together. Now, do not add all the milk at once because it may not need all of it. So what we tend to do in class is to add a puddle at a time. Then with our fork, you've got to mix it up well until all the milk has been absorbed within the mixture, and then add a tiny bit more, because if you add it all at once, you'll get a soggy mess, and we don't want a soggy dough today. So let me show you how we do this now, okay? Right, so we're going to start adding our milk very carefully. So if you put make a little well, a little hole with your fork, like so. And then, as I said, a tiny bit of milk. So add the milk, that's plenty, like you're saying, a little puddle, and then keep on stirring until it starts to clump together, okay? I don't need to add any more until it's all disappeared. So the milk has definitely gone. Okay, so a tiny bit more, like that, in our little well. And then bring it together with our fork, and you'll notice it's starting to clump. It's not quite there yet. Okay, so keep on going like that. Make sure it's all been absorbed, bringing the flour from the outside, and then a bit more. Okay, like that. It's down. Okay, look. Right, it's starting to come together. Okay. See, I'm taking my time with the fork to gather in, to make sure all the flour is absorbing the milk, okay? See, it's starting to form a dough. Maybe a tiny bit more milk I think it needs, like that. This might just do it. This is where you need to use your eyes to make sure. If you do add too much milk, basically you just would need to add some flour to absorb the extra or excess milk that you've added. Right, that I think pretty much, let's have a look. Yeah, I think that's there, really. So keep on going. See, there's no more flour left. I think that's basically where you want to stop. So look, there's some milk left over, so I've not used all the milk, okay? That's basically where you stop. Right, so there's the pizza dough. It's all been brought together. Now, we've not had to use all the milk, so please don't feel you need to use all the milk because it will be soggy. You just basically want to make sure it's got to this stage ready and it can form a ball or form a dough like that, okay? Now, because it's slightly different, as I said before, to a normal pizza dough, it doesn't need that much kneading. So just very slightly, it's like a scone base, as we mentioned. Slight kneading on your work surface for using our flour so it doesn't stick. Just literally, just so it's all brought together, so it's like a nice smooth dough. Right, okay, a little bit of kneading, not much, as we say, because it's not, there's no yeast. It's like a scone mixture, okay? So that's it, look at that, coming together. And you can see it's getting nice and smooth, which is what we want. Right, I think that's ready now to be pushed into our baking tray. Okay, so now we don't need a rolling pin, we're just using our knuckles to push this into the corners. Okay, so that's ready. Like I said, it's greased, ready to ready for the pizza dough. Right, so the dough's in the tray, and what we're going to do now, we're going to use our knuckles basically to push our dough into the corners. So keep on going until you spread it out right into the corners. If you're using a round tin, then by all means just use the shape that you can. Spread it out like that, use your hands. It's quite nice, this feeling. I mean, mine will probably be in between a thin base and a deep pan. So just see how big yours ends up going. Right, keep on going. Stretch it out into the corners as much as you can, using your fingers and your knuckles, like that. It should stretch out like that. Keep on going, like that. I'm just nearly there. You might try and make it level as you can, ready for our topping, which will be the next and final stage before we pop it in the oven. Right, there we go. Make sure it's even and level like that. Okay, I think that's ready now. And remember to grease your trays. Right, so our dough is ready, pushed into the corners, ready for its topping. So firstly, I'm going to get my passata. Smell your ingredients. It smells lovely. And what we're going to do is literally, I'll put 2 tablespoons, I think, like that. And then use the back of your spoon to spread it as much as you can, like that, all over. Okay, so it's evenly spread. So it's going to start to really look like a pizza now. So this is the difference, that usually you have to leave this to rise for an hour, but with this one you can go straight on. So remember, it is slightly different. It will taste slightly different than a normal pizza. So if you're in a real hurry, this is a real quick pizza for you, like that, okay? So there's your passata, all spread evenly. Next, I'm going to put my mozzarella. So with these balls, I mean, obviously if you have the larger ones, you do the same. Basically, use your fingers to tear your mozzarella and dot it around as much as you like, really. I quite like mozzarella, so I'm going to put quite a few, like this. And another one, I think. You can make pretty patterns if you like. There you go, I think that's plenty, maybe one more. One for luck. There you go. There's my mozzarella dotted around. And then I'm going to use my olives next. So with your olives, or if you're using your sweet corn or your ham, this is obviously when you'd put them all on. So with the olives, I'm going to, smell lovely, again, tear them and dot them all around my pizza, like this. Let me show you. Okay, so it's like starting to look lovely and colourful. And another one, like that. Here we go, the last one, I think. One there and one there. Doesn't that look great already? Okay, and then my second cheese that I'm using. So again, it's the cheddar, so we're going to use the large holes, like that. Keep your fingers away from the grater. Horizontal and up and down, like so. Keep on going. That's it. Like I said in Cookery Club, when we get to about here, you turn it round so your fingers are far away from the grater. And then the last piece you can eat. That's plenty, I think. There you go. So get your cheddar and again evenly spread it all around your pizza, like so. Doesn't matter if it spills over the edges, trying to keep it on the pizza. Okay, use all your ingredients. There you go. There's my cheddar all over my pizza. And now I'm going to use some oregano. I do like oregano, so I do use quite a bit. If you put it on your hand, on your palm of your hand, and then you can sprinkle it like so. That's plenty. And then with your oregano, that's it, sprinkle it all over, and this smells amazing, like that, all over. And then I like to put, here we go, that's the oregano there, like that. And then I like to just put some extra virgin olive oil as the last step. It's probably a tablespoon, I should measure this, but literally a tablespoon, like that, is plenty. So, there's your scone-based pizza, which will taste a bit different to a normal pizza, but give it a go because it's tasty. That will go in a preheated heated oven, 180 for about 25-30 minutes. Check it after 25, it should be golden and all the cheese melted, and then it'll be ready to eat. So that's now going to go in the oven. Right, so the pizza's in the oven, and we've cleaned and washed all our things and put them away, and I'm going to have a little break with both my boys this week, and I shall see you in a bit. Right, so after 20 minutes I checked my pizza in the oven, and in fact it's ready. So basically you can see the cheese is all melted, the dough around the sides like a golden colour, and it's actually the cheese is still bubbling. So it's now ready to eat. Right, so I've taken out the pizza using a fish slice from my baking tray onto a chopping board, ready to chop and eat, and I think it looks delicious. What do you think? So I hope you have a go at making this. If you do and want to send me some photos, I'd love to see them. So enjoy, and thank you very much for watching again today, and see you next time. Bye!